talent management industry. We're joined this afternoon by Tumelo Moema, the CEO of Hayani Africa. A very good afternoon to you, Tumelo. Welcome to Africa in Business. Good to have you with us. Welcome.
Thank you. And it is an absolute honor joining this afternoon, Thami.
So tell us more about your company, Hayani Africa. What is it that prompted you to start it? And what would you say is the vision that you had in your mind initially?
Okay. So what prompted me to start Hayani was I was a creative myself in the entertainment industry, dealt with a lot of creatives, but most crucial was working with the likes of Getty Images, right? Bringing them into sub-Saharan Africa. And once you start realizing how far the creatives work go in licensing and so forth, you start then realizing that there's more lack of knowledge. There's more information that can still be shared with the industry in empowering them in understanding how far their skills and talents go. So that was pretty much how it all came about, and it started with photography licensing.
And how do you attract talent from different parts of the continent, and how Pan-African are you?
Yes. Look, I think what helps is word of mouth. It's word of mouth. It's in friends in the industry knowing that you have experience in your media buying, media training, contract negotiations, your licensing, and then whatever through various projects. They will mention the name to say, hey, there's someone that knows how to do this, how to do that. So I would say the attraction for me is in upskilling existing talent, in showing them how far their brand can go outside of, what it's known for.
And I think that really is one of the key challenges that artists face. And also, I think the arts and entertainment industry faces. It's, for many people, entertainment. But the business of entertainment is not oftentimes focused on. I mean, how huge of a market is this? And how does one shift gears and say to the public, yes, it's great, it's entertainment, but it is actually a robust sector that does contribute to the GDPs of nations?
Listen, for me, I'll give you a very simple example. One of the things I said to various creatives that I've consulted for when lockdown hit was just pretty much in saying to them, for example, if I'm working with fine artists, right? I know fine artists, I know animators. So for me, the simplest thing would be, okay, cool. Projects can be shot out there, so the best way we can go about this is in trying to take your, let's loosely call it your static work and giving it motion, right? So this way then, I coined it, creatives are going to save the world, because we are often considered almost like secondary or like not quite the main players in this stake. And I heard you mentioning the orange economy on the continent and the impact it has. So yeah, for me, I would say that's that. It's in the merging, the coming together as an industry.
And with the emergence of influencers, they've really changed the game, haven't they? Because traditionally we know the actors, the actresses, the presenters, etc., and then there are now the influencers. First and foremost, how have they changed the game, and how have they changed the talent management landscape as well?
Look, they've absolutely democratized, our creative industry, in a sense that the influencer space created entrepreneurs, right? Out of, let's say, someone who was just only good at doing makeup or doing this. So it created entrepreneurs, and what I would say is there's legal. I always say legal in any industry is the most crucial thing ever. As an influencer, it's great that you are now an entrepreneur, but in upskilling yourself and understanding and avoiding exploitation, you need to understand the depth of your work. Hence I was saying the whole, the licensing, the depth of your work goes a very long way. I think there's a lot of knowledge, but again, it's a matter of policies, right? So the sooner we all as a people in a shared industry understand what it is that we're here to do, what it takes to do it, and we can set those, parameters in place, it helps a great deal. It helps a huge deal. And I think right now the creative economy, our creative industry, pretty much we work a lot in silos. We work a lot in silos, and I think that's where it can hurt. But again, to answer your question, to how has it empowered influencers? It's in creating entrepreneurs out of them, but still in doing that, I think it's best that they understand what their industry actually, how it works, especially on the legal side of things, because that's where the
And
craft, the
and have the legalities, though, Tumelo, actually been established? Earlier on we had a conversation around cryptocurrency and how the banks, the international banks, are having to develop legislation specifically for cryptocurrency, because it's a new format, it's a new currency, very much around social media as well, influencers. It's a new industry. Are the parameters well set? Are the legalities well set and established at this point?
Look, I think if we look at the industry as a whole, being, let's call it the celebrity industry, the fame, or the glitz and glam side of things, let's call it the America and us, we're obviously not on par, right? Because obviously Hollywood has been ahead of us, and if anything, everything else that we do now, we're pretty much sampling from the back of what the runway they've created for us. But I wouldn't say everything is set in stone, because it's an ongoing thing, especially with the platforms itself. If we're talking about influencers, we're mostly focused on social and digital platforms, right? So the digital platform is an ever, evolving thing. So I wouldn't say that right now everything is set in stone and confirmed. But again, if you understand what it is that is being, let's call it the butter, what it is the client is paying for and how far they're going to go with that, then there's room for you to can negotiate and have different conversations. But the thing I always say to creative entrepreneurs is, just because an agreement has been sent to you by client brand, it doesn't mean that as it should be, which again brings back the understanding of what, the game that you're playing and what it actually entails.
And it brings us right back to you and the role that you play. And how important it is to sometimes be able to separate the art from the business and let everybody focus on their strong points. As far as your industry is concerned, what are the various career paths that can be taken within the talent management industry, and what are the skills needed or even the qualifications needed to be able to handle the business side of the talent?
Yeah. It's quite broad, but here's what I always say, specifically to my experience in what I've done. I've done a couple of various things in the industry, from production to media licensing, buying. So I've pretty much had experience, like think of it as a 360 experience across the industry. So for me, it's a matter of understanding. I've worked, just like I said, with the Gettys. I've done out of home media. I've done television. I've done radio. It gives you a sense of the overall industry, right? So for me personally, I studied advertising and marketing, right? And not necessarily like brand management or a degree in BA. It wasn't anything like that, because again, with this industry, with enough experience, you can get somewhere. I mean, that's the importance of soft skills as well. It's what I always say, that I believe I'm in the human economics industry and not so much talent management, because it sounds so transactional, and it's so much more than just an email that comes in and they're responding to clients and then invoicing, and then that's it. There's a lot of strategy that goes in it. So I would say there are some courses out there, but again, it's a matter of interest. You must really be interested in humans, because human management is not easy.
And I love that phrase, that human economics phrase. I think that very, very much sums it up. And the variety of your experience is really what puts you in the position where you're able to, create something and make sense out of a continuously evolving entertainment landscape. Tumelo Moema, it's been a pleasure chatting with you this afternoon. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you kindly, Thami. Have a beautiful evening.
You have a beautiful one too. Thank you. That's Tumelo Moema. She's the CEO of Hayani Africa. She takes us to exactly 4:54.